Okay, what about the new visit? You said some of the original teachers will be going out and the new will be coming in. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
It means that, good question. The thing is that even cannot people mostly cannot imagine, cannot accept that if we would not had those ones who is controlling the solar system, we would not be living here on this planet. This planet and the solar system would be destroyed by asteroids and other things. Those who is controlling, keeping the whole solar system in harmony, they are now here for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like a group, certain group of developed people who are here already thousands of years. You know, it's a long task, I tell you. And these people are now going back to rest. And the other groups is coming here.
And are these ETs, are they human?
They are humans. They are humans. Uh-huh. But ETs, but humans.
I see.
They are not gods. Mm-hmm. No, mm-hmm. Forget it. It's just humans on the different level of development, much higher than we can imagine, but they are humans.
Okay, are they people that look like you and I, and they're here physical in this reality? You're talking about teachers that are avatars who are not visible.
No.
In this
when you meet these people, they are, well, more or less looking like we are, but they are higher, different energetic states. But they have 2 hands, 2 legs, you know, the head, they love each other, you know, everything like we are doing here. Mm. But they are different at the same time. First of all, they have a different mentality, different approach to life, to communications.
And you're getting this information from the ancient texts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But are you also getting this information from remote viewers? That, because we know that this Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, did a lot of investigation using remote viewers.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, maybe even before the U.S. I don't know if they did it before China.
Doesn't matter. Believe me, for me, it doesn't matter who is the first.
No,
Americans, Russians.
But what I'm saying is, are these remote viewers?
No.
Helping to give you this information? No.
My personal experience. I was not happy to work with those ones who use these abilities.
Okay.
Because we have found that 99.99% that was whether false information or not interesting for me at all. Mm. I had so many cases, even I say let's say short cases, when I could just ask a question and to give an answer and immediately to see that this person sees something else, but not reality. Something else. It's this reality that he describes or she describes has nothing to do to us. Reality is different. And this is the reason why, for me, this amount of experiences, especially those ones, ancient texts, who have received this knowledge not by remote viewing. They did it, but with the help of pyramids, with the help of instruments which were working or acting like for us, like a telephones or TV screen. Okay, when you can see, you can compare, you can use your own knowledge, and at the end of the story you have a real information. I would say scientific information. Otherwise, it's going to be about something. Well, shortly. I was not happy to work with remote viewers. For me, it's absolutely not interesting.
I see. Okay, so here you are in Russia, and you're doing some revolutionary work in many ways, okay? And we are not used to thinking of Russia so much as a place of such freedom of thought. And yet here you are working with the government with very advanced techniques. What can you say about Russia at this time, that it must be undergoing such a change in consciousness to allow someone as like yourself, with your building your pyramids and so on, you're influencing this government to be a totally different kind of a government. Can you say anything about this?
What I would say, I'm really sorry that within the last hundreds of years, people living in the West have no possibility to touch and to understand real Russian spiritual reality. Russians, in the center, they're so spiritual, so unbelievably open-minded people. So if long time ago we would be connected all together, I'm sure the development of our civilization took quite a different, much more positive way. This year, on February, I was lucky and I made a historical discovery. I was lucky to find Hyperborea.
I'm sorry?
I was lucky to find Hyperborea. The Hyperborean people. In all ancient texts, they are called, and Hyperborea as the place where gods were living, and the place from which they came to Atlantis, they came to Europe, they came to Siberia, and they brought a knowledge to India, they brought a knowledge to Eastern countries. So they were the key spiritual, stimulators of our planet. And everybody thought that this place now is under the water of the Northern Sea.
Okay.
I have found it, and it's not under the water. And the central place of this civilization, the mountain called Meru, the biggest pyramid, probably you have heard about it, Meru. It still stands.
Mount Meru?
Meru.
Where?
Where it is?
Mount Meru?
Yes, Mount Meru.
In Tanzania?
No.
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 Okay, this is a different Mount Meru. Where is this?
So if you're interested, I can give you just a very short idea how I found it. All ancient text says the pyramid complexes and all pyramids and temples that were set up before asteroid impact were orientated exactly on the northern pole on Mountain Meru. What I had to do is just to find complex, like pyramids or pyramid complexes, which were constructed according to a former law, like a canon. And you can see where they look. Where was the ancient northern pole? Now I can see it here. Come here.
Yes. Okay.
I will show it here too. Ancient text says that Kailas, northern reflector of the Kailas, was looking exactly to the north. So we make a line. It goes Greenland. Okay, we need now second complex. The second complex, 15 degrees, Teotihuacan. Okay, we go 2 lines. Opa, Meru is here. This is Hyperborea. Those whom we know, who was defecting, the all others, they were living here. The Meru is under the snow, but not under the ice here. Now look then, it's very interesting. This is another complex here in Russia. also orientated to Meru. There. Now look. Kailas, looking exactly to Meru. If you put 90 degree here, the pyramid of Atlantis is here. Is here. Under the water, not so deep, is here. This is the map of Haji Ahmed. And Haji Ahmed shows exactly the place where Atlantean pyramid was situated. It is here. 3 main pyramids of a planet before it's Kailas. Now look, Hyperborea. This is the map of Gerhard Mercator. You see?
So you found it, but
it's not under the water. The northern pole was not here. It was here.
And right now it's under snow?
Yeah, just under the snow, not under the ice. It's on top. So actually, I would say that our spirituality, our Russian spirituality, okay, it's from here. So those who was here and then later on bringing spirituality to the other countries, they came from here.
And this is the North Pole, right?
The former North Pole.
The former.
Former. And magnetic pole is almost here.
I see. Can you go there?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Did you go there?
I will go there next year.
Okay.
I will go. You said
Okay.
here. It is here.
Is there going to be evidence when you go there? Yes? Is it going to be buried or
No.
no?
You will see the traces, what we have got left from Meru, there. It will be there. So you see this part?
Are you able to use satellite photography to examine the area?
Sure, sure. So this is now under the water, right? But even on the map of Gerhard Mercator, it's on top. You see, it's 1558. This map was published 1558. On that map, we have this part on top, not under the water. But see? So this part, northern part of Siberia, was not under the water. Even 2,000 years ago, it was on top. It was gone under the water not so long ago.
Okay.
But the reason and the problem is that on this map of Gerhard Mercator, we have 3 maps. This part of map, look, this part of map. It's an ancient, very old map that was done before flood. This one is the same area. It's the same, but after the flood, displaced 15 degrees because of the asteroid impact. So Gerhard just put together 2 maps, before flood and after flood, and put together the same area, but not like this, like this. And this is the reason why all investigators, they were not able to understand what is here, why it's like this.
Interesting. Yeah.
But the reason is simple, it's just displacement, and northern pole is not here, it's here.
12. What is going to happen to that area, though? You know, with
So
the
now you see-
melting of the snow and the changing of the melting of the glaciers and, you know, the flooding that is going to result. We talked to Boriska. He talks about, he believes in 2009, starting in 2009 possibly, there is going to be, because of the melting.
Boriska now, he's a pretty clever guy. He's using the information connected with the so-called 4-year cycles. According to 4-year cycles and 12-year cycles, each 12-year cycles is constructed of 3 4-year cycles. And now look, the former 12-year cycles have finished on 2001. Okay?
Okay.
What took place all over the world, you know.
Mm.
In America, it was terrible moment, you know, attack.
Mhm.
2001, okay? Plus 4 years, 2005, okay?
Yeah.
Plus 4 years, 2009, good. And plus 4 years,
2012.
no, 12, 13.
Okay.
So it means 2009 is connected to 4-year cycles, and you will see some unusual events. But the key moment will start at 2000, actually not 12, 2001 plus 12 years,
Mm.
2013. 12, it's just the beginning when you will see something is going on, and 2013 on our planet we will witness terrible hurricanes, this catastrophes much stronger than now, especially the sun. It will be so active, unbelievably active, affecting the stability of the planets in the solar system, and especially those ones which is behind the sun. So in connection with this mechanism of 12-year cycles, containing 3 cycles per 4 year, this is the key moment. So when you want to know when it will happen, use these keys, because ancient priests, Egyptian priests and priests of Maya, they always were basing their how to say, what they predicted.
Yes.
They were based on cycles.
Sure.
So according to the cycle, it starts on 2012, but in active phase, it will be on 2013. It's
Sure.
just very active.
Is there anything that you are working on that you think that Americans and other people, because this kind of an interview will go onto the internet, okay? And we will be giving sort of this information, some of it will be coming out for the first time outside of Russia even. And if there is anything around this, in other words, are you building safe places for the people for these events? Are you allowing this to happen because this is the way of the world and some people will live, some people will die? How is Russia thinking about this?
We think like this. First of all, we need to investigate. Then, now, we're already sharing this information on the internet. I would be very happy to share this knowledge all over the world, so that people anywhere in America could have it, read it, investigate and use it, practically use it to prepare their health for these events.
I see.
We need to share it. Otherwise, for example, you understand, if the knowledge of installation and this unbelievable technologies will be only in the heads of Chinese, it's not right. They will be using it according to their own purposes. I'm not sure it will be just clear and sacred purposes. So this knowledge is devoted to all people on this planet. It should be done, well, by a combined group from Russia, America, Germany, Australia, everywhere, from different countries. So to start this process, we need to share this knowledge.
Now, are you aware, we have interviewed a man named Dan Burish. Do you know who this is?
Just have heard.
I see. Well, he is a scientist, supposedly worked with the government in an underground base at Area 51. He had relationship with E.T., who he helped develop supposedly cures for a skin problem, a developmental problem they're having. He is talking, and we did an interview with him, about the coming days between now and 2012 and beyond. And he is saying that there are stargates, man-made stargates, that are being turned off as of now because of this influx of energy, which sounds a lot like what you have investigated there and shown us,
Mhm.
you know, which you show is mainly coming in through the North
Mhm.
Pole. And he is saying that the man-made stargates must be shut down, but the natural stargates will be left alone, and that this influx of energy could be responsible for a drastic, you know, changes in the weather and so on and so forth. So in some ways, what he says parallels what you are saying, but you are not familiar with his work?
Well, on the one hand, a little bit.
A little.
A little
Okay.
bit. But on the other hand, as you already understood, we now trying to investigate and understand all these processes being here in Russia, having, well, our bases here. So what we have here,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, results of our investigation, our scientists, our philosophers, everything here.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are ready, not only share it, we're also ready to put it together
Mm-hmm.
with other investigators. This is the first step. I'm going to publish these books
I see.
in English language.
Okay.
And again, it's very important, this is scientific approach.
Right.
Scientific, very, very helpful.
So tell me one thing. Are you aware of the Illuminati,
Yeah.
as they're called, and also MJ12, what used to be called MJ12, but could also be called, you know, PI40, or who knows what they're going by now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so these are power bases that have actually been supposedly in charge of human affairs on the planet.
I do not know whether you will be happy to listen or to hear it from me or
Sure.
not, but, well, investigating all this around Illuminatis, I myself, and people I'm working with, we came to a strict conclusion.
Hmm.
The reality is not so optimistic. It's, for us, they are not interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not, completely not. They were, well, people are talking about them like people, like those who had no knowledges,
Mm-hmm.
very poor ones,
Mm-hmm.
very poor ones. As for Majestic 12, in the Nexus magazine number 6 and number 7, we published the last results of Russian investigation of these cases, showing exactly that the whole story was quite different, quite a different.
Mm-hmm.
Not like it's usually well exposed in the West, quite different. So we made it, we published it, and now we went on. Now we are not more interested in this story.
Okay. But do you hear about, because you were talking about the Chinese,
Yeah.
are you hearing about Ben Fulford and what he is saying about the Chinese, the Yakuza and the Chinese that have put out a vendetta, so to speak, on the Illuminati and the plans that they have for the planet during this time that we're approaching? Are you aware of all of this?
On the one hand, yes, but on the other hand, this is the reason why I say, for me, it's not so interesting because the reality is different.
Mm.
It's just, it's just the stories.
Mhm.
Okay,
What's
reality.
a summary of the reality published in Nexus 6 and 7? Can you tell us what you concluded, or what your Russian colleagues concluded?
I mean the Majestic 12?
Yeah.
False stories. Completely false story, from the beginning. Sorry friends, it's false stories. What I would be very happy to find some additional, finances to translate the whole investigation into English.
Mm.
Then you would see. It's false case.
Okay, so you're not so much worried about the power struggle on
No.
the planet
No,
as you are
Completely
preparing for this energetic event that is coming and the pyramids that you're building
completely not.
as a
because
solution.
I'm sure that what I'm doing now, just sharing information about the pyramid, the information around
Mhm.
it, and what can give the usual American person, or doesn't matter, German people, the possibility practically to improve the health and
Mhm.
prepare yourself, it's much more interesting than
Yes.
all the stories about Illuminati, which actually has nothing to do with reality.
Okay,
It's my pure, I'm sure about this.
okay.
I have visited, I have talked with many people all over the world and in Russia, and I was so astonished to see that those who is talking about the knowledge in reality has no this knowledge. It's just they think they have. In reality they have no. And what we have actually just brought here by these books is much more than you can find among these stories. Much more.
Okay, one more question and then we are going to close this down unless you have something more for us. But you have this interesting miniature sort of installation built in your wall here, and you showed us a really fascinating thing that happened at night, that this person staying with you was able to film something coming out of the crystal like a light and going around the room. And the reason I'm asking you about this is because Dan Burisch is doing work with something he calls the Lotus, in which he is working with crystals and working with the generating or the finding of what is almost life, a form of life building that actually comes through crystals if they are stimulated with a laser. And I'm wondering if you know anything about this kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, this very good example. I already told you that I would prefer something which we can touch, you know. The stories about spirituality, the stories about something that we can only believe, okay, it's okay, but for me it's not enough. I was always trying to find something, you know, what we can call the hard evidence. For me, at least for me, hard evidence, okay? And investigating, again, talking the pyramid constructions, the knowledge embodied in the pyramid, energy sources that were used to make the pyramid like a special instrument.
Right.
I was trying to find what they have been using, what the construction it was. So we have been lucky to find the ancient texts. So I just usually, I did usually what I did. I just reproduced it. Okay? As soon as I have the knowledge, I decided I need to make it and to try to see what this text is talking about. Okay, so you see, I did it just on the wall of my flat. As soon as it was just changing here for better, I decided, why not? I just put it here. It's not, the whole system is not what you see here. It's the, you know, there are a few layers behind it.
Okay, yes.
So I just produced it, and I was really astonished when suddenly this system started to act as the living something. First of all, there were a few cases when in the middle of the night, when everything was dark here in this room, this crystal system started to bring out a light, unbelievable light. And the person, I already will show you this guy, this Beck. Beck, he was astonished to see it at night because he never read anything about UFOs, nothing. He knows nothing about spirituality and what we are discussing now. I mean, okay? Suddenly, he went out of this room at night and said, Valerie, how should I treat it? Is it okay? It's bad or good? I said, what do you mean? This crystal system started to glow, unbelievable light. I said, wait, don't be afraid. Just next time, just wake me up. I would also be happy to see it. Next time at night, he just made a photo on the telephone. Just telephone camera. Chick. And the last time, at the first day, it's the first day of a full moon. 20 minutes to 10 in the evening. Ball of light came out of these crystals, was flying here, and then again touched the crystal and went inside. And Beck just took again the telephone and made, you know, like a film, just, and I showed it to you.
Yes.
Did you think we could see that again?
I will give you it to you. I can send
great.
it by email. And
that
you
would
can
be
use
better
it.
than what we could capture on the
So, sure, the quality of camera is not so good, but I decided this is the reason why I put it like here.
Yes.
So I plan to put the camera here and bigger one here.
Yes.
And computer, it's more than 2 gigabytes, terabytes of disk space here.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to film it
Yes.
especially at the first days of full moon, just to get this, event with a high quality.
Sure.
But for me, it's a key moment. First time, practically, we have received this like instrument, which is radiating a light, emitting energetic balls. Not like in a field of belief, it works.
Sure.
It's quite different. This is already a case when we can investigate it, at least scientifically.
Sure.
First of all, to film it, to see the periods, cycles, what kind of light, how intensive, in the other things. Just what we can do. It's not just spiritual, conversation. It's
Sure.
reality.
Okay, so you're building an instrument and you're putting it inside the pyramid, right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
inside of
what
the pyramid, we are
are
going
you
to set
building?
up 12 such
I
energy
understand.
sources.
But
12.
you cannot tell us, will you tell us what is behind, what is the mechanism that you have behind the wall?
I
Or
would
is
prefer.
this a secret?
I would prefer now, at this
Uh-huh.
moment, just to have it, because as soon as we are investigating this, okay,
Yes.
we need to know, well, deeply, how it works. I'm sure that what was described and stands behind the bird phoenix, in ancient Egypt, or
Yes.
Bennu, this energetic influence stimulated consciousness, and the life is very closely connected to such a system. I'm sure about it.
Yes.
But first of all, I would prefer investigate it. I can
understand.
tell you simply, I did it. My main first reason was, here I have an earthquake right under this building.
Ah,
And energy in this room was not good for me. I felt exhausted. Next 30 minutes, when I came here, sat here for the first, in 20 minutes I felt myself energetically exhausted.
I see.
So that was not positive. And my main idea was, when I came to understanding of the system, I said to myself, why not to do it? Maybe it will change the energy here, and it
Yes.
will be much better for me to work. Next day, energy here was changed. Back was very painful. He lost his pain.
Yes.
He had serious problems with the kidneys. No problems. Second day, now already 4 months after this, it's here already 4 months. No any problems with pain, with livers, with kidneys. Nothing.
Okay.
He's happy. Me
Very good.
too.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Well, this is wonderful. Okay, well, we've used enough of your time, and we are very grateful
I got
for
one or
all
two
of
extra
this.
questions. When you were talking about the installation, I had one or two questions about that. It felt as if there was more that you could have said about where it is, how it works, and how it was discovered.
Good questions. Okay. Well, what it is, what we have here, now I would like to point out in our dimension. There are few physical devices. It's a huge devices. They are under the ground. And these physical devices are generating in a certain moment when a meteorite carrying a dangerous bacteria appears somewhere over the planet, the system starts to prepare. Usually it starts approximately half an hour before. At this moment, strange vibration of the earth, like a small or tiny earthquake starts, strange sounds from under the ground, and then people describe, and I gave this description in the Nexus magazine, by the way, translated into English. They have been described like kind of things, metallic leads were opened in the ground, and I'm calling this terminators. It's a big light balls. Some of them were approximately 50 to 60 meters in diameter, were flying out from the ground.
These were observed.
Yes, that's the reason. local indigenous people, they also spoken, hundreds of them, they have seen hundreds of them. But most part of them were generated not in our dimension, in parallel dimension. They are coming here from parallel dimension.
And how do you reach this conclusion?
Because of it's easy. It's easy. There are places where people described, they witness vibration of the earth, opens the things like this, movement, strange sounds, you know, like earthquakes, like a real mechanism is working, okay? The other places, nothing like this, just from the ground, just a light, like a beam of light, appear, and, you know, like in a fairy tale, something appear here. It's not generated in the earth. It's appear from something, like from parallel dimensions. You know, like UFO goes here or disappear.
Yes.
It stands here and then in nothing. The same thing.
Okay, I see.
Just think. Here.
Okay.
Come on, this parallel dimension.
There would have to be a number of these installations all over the planet in order to cover the Earth from such impact from every direction.
Right.
There would have to be,
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to kind of figure out in my mind, there'd have to be several dozen.
So, what I can tell you about this now. There were some of them in Australia. They were, I would say they were already used. They do not work anymore. But you can find something there. Some already used are in China. Most part of active are in two places. In Siberia and near Easter Island, under the water. There, but those ones under the water. In Siberia, we have it here on top of the Earth. Most.
Are there any in North America as well?
Now not. They were long, long ago. They were now not.
So this is an ancient technology to protect the planet.
I wouldn't say ancient. I would say this installation started to construct it, to build, maybe 17,000, 18,000 years ago. But during this 1,000 years ago, this installation were developed, continuously developed. And those who lived on Mars and Maldek before, they started to do it. But there were other people, I would say visitors, who continued to develop it. And I would say, well, it's just the beginning of the story. To show it to you how it's amazing, we need much more time.
Yes.
And I need better English. I have no enough, words for this. I would prefer to describe everything in the book, to translate it into English, where or when you can afterwards to read it carefully to see. It's an amazing story. The whole story around Tunguska case is amazing. And what I'm sure that these terminators, these light balls, they were flying all over. You can see them even over America. Sure, even now, if kind of meteorite is flying in direction over America and it is about to hit the ground over America, you will see. But people mostly see it, or they think this is UFO, but it's not UFO. It's Terminator flying. And usually, if it is Terminator, it's always connected with a strange or with a kind of explosion. First, you see this ball, then maybe 3-4 minutes, strange explosion and light. You know, like enlightenment, the sky is lightning. So if it's like ball, and then 3-4 minutes, lightning and, like explosion, you can be sure, 100% Terminator. Because the reason why. Another thing, people think that if Terminator just hit the meteorite, so the pieces, the most part of the pieces, debris of this meteorite should be here, on planet Earth. On one hand, it's a reasonable question. On the other hand, it's not like this. if, like in Tunguska case, hundreds of Terminators hit this meteorite and just boiled out, you know, just burned, they just
incinerate, you mean?
yes, they just turned the whole substance into, you know, into fire, and then no having any living biological organism stayed alive. This debris you can find on planet Earth. Like after Tunguska case, we had a lot of such materials. But most part, 97% of these materials always is brought into other dimension. So they just hit. When the Terminator is exploded, it made a combustion, deformation of space and time. It makes like kind of a hole, okay? And meteorite exactly flies out, whoop, and somewhere else, but not on the planet Earth.
I see. Okay.
This is the key moment. This is the reason why in the book I'm giving a very interesting description. When witnesses at 7 o'clock 15 minutes past 7 in the morning, when the sun was over their heads, they said, when they heard that explosion, strange, strong, first thing that took place, they said, we have been hanging in the starry skies. No sun, no earth, just space and stars around. And they described, they said, open, skies was opened. So it means this explosion transformed space and time, and they saw themselves standing in the universe. Next moment, hop, everything was closed, and then strange explosion, and no traces.
But you are saying the Chinese have discovered
they have found
some of the
some devices
behind this.
Yes, which were. So actually, this is the system, okay? It's a kind of a tube, goes down deeply. They found this tube and something that was inside. They found it.
How do you know?
He says this.
Secret Service
tell
are
us.
working.
You have Secret Service info. Okay, fine.
They're working. They found
Inside
it.
information.